I'm Jake Bruton, and today on the Build Show Network, we're going to talk about the NFRC sticker that you get on your windows and what all those numbers mean. Let's do it now. So let's start our conversation with a history lesson. NFRC is the National Fenestration Rating Council. It is a non-profit industry organization created by the window manufacturers, door manufacturers, to be able to rate their windows against each other. It was originally, and this is my understanding, originally the intent was to be able to advertise industry-wide values. So you can say, well, look at my X, it's better than window manufacturer B, so that's why you should buy from us. But it is a non-profit organization that all those companies invest in so that they can be part of it and they can get their windows rated and everything like that. The window sticker itself comes on every window manufactured in the United States, or should come on every window manufactured in the United States. It is not replaceable. That sticker belongs to that piece of glazing in that specific window. It will not be duplicated. It is actually off of the physical readings that they took off of the glass and that specific stuff. You can't buy another one. It also has a unique number. So that number, then you can go on the Fenestration Council's website and find your specific glazing unit to learn about what it is. Now, full disclosure, this window sticker is not an NFRC window sticker. The reason that we're filming in front of one that is not is we don't have any on any of our projects where we actually have an NFRC rated sticker. All of our stuff is coming from European Architectural Supply. They're triple glazed units from Europe. They do not come with a American window sticker. So what we get is the manufacturer of the window, Aluprof in this case, or Schuco sometimes, makes a sticker with the same readings and the same information on that sticker so that we can apply that to our code. There also is some debate about these stickers, the ones coming out of Europe, and how they're created, that some of these numbers might not be 100% accurate. They might vary by up to 10%. 10% is a pretty big value, but we're getting windows that are performing well beyond what we can buy in the United States. We'll put up with a numbers slightly wrong sort of thing on our windows. But this still has all the same stuff, all the same information. It's a good example. So there are 4 or 5 boxes and pieces of information that exist on every one of these window stickers. Number 1 at the top is who made the window, what the window is. It's basically, if you had an Anderson 100 series or a Marvin Integrity, it would say that at the top, and then it would say double hung, single hung, triple glaze, things like that. It lists what we're looking at. This one says product type, single tilt turn right window, and it also says it is the Climatop XN triple glazed argon filled with this specific U spacer. So you get the information as to what all these numbers are rating from that top section. And that's this sticker and the actual real NFRC sticker. Next is the U factor. So we're going to think about U factor as kind of the same thing as R value. It's the inverse of R value, and it basically means the unit's ability to resist heat flow, which is kind of the same system as insulation. This is what we're talking about. And that's heat flow from one side or the other, and that's non-solar heat flow. So it's just the temperature difference. It's the ability to slow down that temperature difference, this hot air moving to the cold outside or the hot outside moving to the cold inside. Ability to resist flow. And if we think of it as the inverse of the R value, we can put it into R value. This unit says 0.176 is the U factor. So if I take 1 and divide it by 0.176, we get an R 5.7 for this unit. Now, I keep saying the unit. That's not the IG. The IG is a system by itself. The window is a system as a whole. So when we look at this sticker, it's talking about everything. It's talking about the frame, the weather stripping, the glazing bars, how the hardware impacts things, and the glass. So the thing as a whole is a R 5.7. Same glass in a UPVC window instead of an aluminum window. It's a higher R value. It's a better R value because that aluminum does not work as well as a system for resisting heat flow as UPVC does. So you have to understand that we're not just looking at the glass. The sticker's on the glass, so we mentally want to think it's the glass that we're talking about, but it's the whole unit. So, I believe code says that your U factor has to be 0.30, something like that. That puts you at like an R3 for the glass. You can see R3 to, nearly 5 3/4. That's a big jump from code just to this. Next, we have solar heat gain efficiency or coefficient. That is a number that is its ability to resist heat flow caused by solar energy. Now, this number, 0.54, can kind of be all over the place and make different sense for different reasons. And it's a 0 to 1 number. We're not as concerned with having something that has a really high solar heat gain coefficient because number one, we want to let that energy in the winter, and number two, we're working on really well designed houses that accommodate for shading in the design. So we're not relying on this piece of glass to keep the sun's energy from getting in. We're relying on shading, both from the building and from planting, to make sure that the sun isn't hitting this glass all day long, making it hot when we don't want it like that. The best thing that we can get is the middle of winter, we get sun washing all the way across the rooms, and the middle of summer, we get no sun hitting the glass at all. And so that number, for us, because of our design process with our architects, it almost really never comes into play. Yeah, there's days where the sun might hit it more than others, where you still aren't wanting it to touch, but we're trying to take care of that with proper shading, proper overhangs, proper design. Next, visible transmittance. It's the VT number. So your eye will notice something around 40% of the light being blocked out by the glass. So most of the time, if you look at like just a plain piece of glass by itself, you wouldn't really notice that there's a difference, even though one single pane of glass knocks out something like 15 to 20% of the visible light. So we're getting really good VT numbers because we're triple glazed. So we're getting 74% of the visible light coming through the system. And the reason that's important is because if we went to a double glazed unit, that number would actually go down. We would get less visible light coming into the design or into the space because of the design of the function of the glass. If we're a double pane glass, the only way to get high U factors is lots of coatings. And all those coatings add layers, add things, and cause there to be a reduction in visible light. The VT number is most important for me in the setting of, well, we have a front door that's not from a European manufacturer, and we have a window next to it. Well, they're going to have different glass, they're going to have a different VT. We need to be aware of that, we need to plan for that, we need to try to not put a triple glazed European window next to an American manufacturer that has a lesser quality glass, things like that. You will notice that number when two things that are dissimilar are next to each other, way more than you would if this was just a 0.5 like you see on American windows. Air leakage number. Unless you're in the 2015 or newer code book, this number doesn't have to be present. It doesn't have to be published. They do have to test for it, but they don't have to publish it on this sticker unless you are 2015 or newer in the code book. You can go to the number at the top of the fenestration sticker, go to the website and get that number for each and every unit, but I think the air leakage number is pretty important, so we do ask our manufacturer to put that on there, and it is, you're allowed to have three cubic feet per minute through 1 square foot of glass or something like that. It's a pretty big leakage number to allow there. And this number is super low. It is a 0 to 1 as well. They do have to test for it. You'll notice that this is a tilt turn with locking hardware. Obviously that's a closed rating, not an open rating. But you'll notice that like a picture window has a better rating because it doesn't have all those moving parts. It's just a pane with weather stripping on both sides instead of a pane with weather stripping and then more weather stripping and parts to hold it together. So you can play with that air leakage number by going to fixed unit next to a operable unit, and then your design has accounted for, we got less leakage than what we could have if we just had, you know, 2 double hungs or whatever. Condensation resistance is just a 1 to 100 scale. The higher the number, the better. This is a pretty good number because our U factor is pretty good. And then the U factor down here, COG, that means center of glazing. This glass is better insulated than the frame. That's a R9.3 by itself. If we're just talking about right here, that's eliminating most of the effect of the metal glazing bar and the frame. So we're a 9.3 glass, or close to. From there on our stickers, we do get the architectural ID, which our architect is fantastic, Steve Basic, on this project. No window has the same number. No window has a twin someplace else that could be confused because they all get their own number. So this is G3, this is garage 3. Everything on the first floor is 1 dash, what number window it is. Everything on the second floor is 2 dash, and so on. So even if we have 2 windows that are identical, they have different numbers, we don't end up messing them up. We don't end up putting a bathroom window in a living room or something like that because one of them had to be tempered. Now that you know all the information on the sticker, look at your window, judge whether or not you think you have a quality window on site, and look into other options. This sticker is super important. You can't replace it. Your inspector's going to want to look at it. You should be able to argue the values on it with your clients, and you should push for some of these really high-performing numbers. Till next time, I'm Jake Bruton on The Build Show. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow everybody on Instagram. There are new contributors coming on this month that we're excited about having. There's really a lot going on, so you really want to subscribe to that newsletter. Don't forget to follow me on the Unbuild It podcast, which we have a recent episode that has a lot of this information, except for expanded. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Jake.Bruton. Thanks for watching.